Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council, and on Designing Your Life Today, we're going to talk about 5 ways to change and achieve, because there's so many things that we want to achieve, right? You have goals that you want to achieve. You have a dream life, and it does not matter how old you are. I was about to say how young you are, but I imagine if you're like 6 months old, you got to wait a minute and let yourself grow a bit. However, we're going to talk about change, the ways that you can change, how you can accelerate that process. And you say, well, it happens when it happens. And I've had people say that it happens when it happens. But understand this, there are certain things in life that will not happen without your permission. Which is why a lot of people, and I don't know if it's a lot, but it seems like it is. There are a lot of people who think that the dreams that they have, the ideas that they have, the goals that they've set, that they're so impossible, or these goals are so difficult. Things seem difficult when we have been taught to think a certain way, and we refuse to, let's say, change our thinking. We refuse to upgrade our thinking. We refuse to open our mind to new ideas. Now, I say new ideas, but these are principles that have existed since the beginning of time. And so basically they are new to us. So with that being said, before I go off on my little tangent, let's get back to the 5 ways that you can change and achieve. I just wanted to point out the fact that there's nothing to stop you from achieving the goals that align with your purpose and align with who you're called to be. There's nothing that can stop you except you. You actually have to turn down what I call an assignment. So we all have gifts, we all have talents, and people spend a lot of time trying to figure out what is my purpose. Take a moment and think about it. Spend some quiet time. What's calling to you? What's exciting you? What do you see that's out here, let's say in this great world that we live in, and you go, wow, you have a solution to it. And you think, wow, you know what? All they have to do is X, Y, Z. Perhaps that is a part of your purpose or a part of your calling. So we're not here to just talk about your purpose today. We're talking about how do you make the changes so that you can accomplish the goals that will allow you to, let's say, blossom into your purpose, or share your purpose with the rest of the world so that we can benefit from it, and so can you. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Actually, before I get into this, our Summer Success Series information, you're going to find out more about that before the end of this week, but also it's going to start in July, so stay tuned for that. If you are not on my email list, go to designingyourlifetoday.com. When that little box pops up, you can put your information in there, or text the word join, add your email address when prompted, and send it to 904-787-6055. So you want to send the text message to 904-787-6055. 6055. Put the word join in the email or the text box, and you can add your email address and you will be on my email list. You should get a confirmation, or you will get a confirmation saying that you are subscribed. That way you don't miss anything that we're going to announce during our Summer Success Series period. Also, for the rest of this week, I think I'm going to talk a lot about change. I often say that people evolve into who they were called to be. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well in another podcast episode. But for now, let's get right into 5 ways to change and achieve. So when it comes to getting the things that you desire in your life, it is very easy to blame someone else for where we end up or where we are at that point in time in our life. But that is such a waste of time. And it's something that is so important for you to understand, that if you're going to grow, spending time blaming someone else is not going to help you. Now, there is such a thing as cause and effect. And I'll be talking more about that also in another episode. However, the object of the game is to recognize who's in control of your destiny. You're in control of your destiny. God has given you a purpose, and He has given you the power to achieve. If you were to go to the Bible, there's so many scriptures that point to that fact. And I often mention one of my favorites, which is, for God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So if you have the power, that means He's given you the power to achieve. If you have love, that means that you have what you need to make something happen, to follow through in your purpose. Think about it. Anybody who's ever done anything, I want to say great, it's because they had some kind of deep desire within them to do some good. They felt the love for either for someone else or for a group or for something. Okay, bringing something to humanity and mankind that would make things better. So think about that when you are thinking that you are not good enough or that you're not smart enough. Understand this. Here's my caveat. You will go through some challenges. You will, I always use the metaphor, you will fall down and scrape your knees. But the beautiful part about that is that you'll get up and those knees will heal. So don't let anything stop you. So let's get into the 5 ways to change and achieve. And the object of the game is for you to understand that you have that strength to use your wisdom and to actually take action. Okay, so here's number 1. Number 1 is know what you want. Now, I often say know what you desire, but I'm saying know what you want because that might resonate with you more. What is it you want? And so want implies a longing for something. So what is it you are longing for? What is it that you think about when you say, wow, you know what? I'm so good at this. I love doing this. And I know there's so many people that would benefit from this. And so that is something perhaps that you can turn to a business. But when it comes to the personal side, what is it about you that you desire? What are you wishing for? What are you hoping for in your life? Both sides. So take the time to put these things in writing. Know what you want. These are desires. And when you have a strong desire to achieve something, it takes your energy to a much higher level and you feel a strong sense of purpose. This is why desire is so important. But start with what you want. What is that thing that you think is missing that's really not missing? All you have to do is make the change and adjust and do what it takes to get there. Okay. So number 2, if you want to change and achieve more, then you have to take responsibility for where you are right now. Now, don't confuse responsibility with blaming yourself, beating yourself up, and doing the I wish I had. I've been there, done that, and I promise you it will take you nowhere. As a matter of fact, it takes your energy down and you're not even the least bit excited about, let's say, getting up the next day because you wish you had. You spend so much time looking at the past, you can't see how powerful you are in the present, and power is in the present moment. I know if you were to look at some of the videos on YouTube, I try my best to skip them. Okay, some of them I do click on, but I can only watch them for a few seconds. But if you listen to some of this, there's so much criticism, so much condemnation. Everybody else has an opinion on how someone else should live their lives. Now, there are some great YouTube videos out there that provide you with some really great instruction and information that will help you to amplify your success and amplify your life and go to that level that you desire, that pull that you have in you where something's pulling you to come higher. Okay, so that's fine. But the point that I'm making is because of all of that criticism and condemnation that seems to kind of permeate through our community these days, people feel as though they can't change. They feel as though they can't be someone different. They feel as though that they've messed up so badly until the world is going to just condemn them and criticize them and make them feel like they don't matter. Well, here's the truth. The truth is they probably will try and do that. Or not try. They're going to do it. There will be some people who will criticize. Make up in your mind, these are your naysayers. These are the negative people. You don't have to listen to them. Here's what you listen to. You listen to the call that God has put on your life. You listen to who God says you are. And one of the things that God never said we wouldn't make mistakes. He didn't say that. However, he did give us a way out. And of course, he does. It's in the Bible in 2 Corinthians 5:17, where God says that you're transformed into a completely new creation. That's if you have faith in Jesus, of course. So you can go and read this for yourself. But I'm sharing this with you to let you know that you don't have to stay where you are. Just take responsibility for what you've done. If you've done something wrong, take responsibility for not knowing, but then make a commitment that you're going to learn something new. I've shared this on this podcast before that I was never really taught about relationships. Male-female relationships. Now, I saw some great relationships between, in my family, some of the people in my family, but without going on with the long story, the reality of it is, my parents split. My mom left my brothers and I when I was 5, and I've shared that before. But I'm saying all of this to say, just because I didn't learn certain things, that doesn't mean that at some point, when it seemed as though I didn't know the answers to the questions and certain situations were not working out in my favor, that does not mean that I don't take the time to learn. See, it doesn't mean that I sit around and I beat myself up. It doesn't mean that I sit around and I beat the other person up and I call the other person names. Now, it is what it is. A lot of times when you connect with dysfunction, it's dysfunction on both sides. So I will say that. However, the point that I'm making here is, as an individual, I am responsible for making sure I align with my purpose. I align with my calling. And so are you. You're responsible for the same thing. So it's not about what someone else has done. It is about the fact that I recognize what has been done. I recognize what doesn't work. And now I need to have the wisdom to go and learn what does work. So take responsibility for where you are. Don't beat yourself up, but be responsible. And responsibility or being responsible says, you know what? Wow. Didn't make the best choice there. So now I need to learn how to make better choices. I need to go and learn something that I don't know. That is humility. Humility doesn't say you won't make a mistake. It says, I made a mistake. I made the wrong choice. And I'm not just talking about relationships. I'm talking across the board when something didn't work out for you. And so what you want to say to yourself is, you know what? I need to learn what does work. I don't have time to sit around and blame other people. Okay, that's what little kids do. And once we become adults, yeah, our responsibilities, they seem to grow. They don't get any lighter. However, they only seem extremely heavy when you're not sure what to do. And it becomes heavier when you spend time blaming other people. So take responsibility for where you are. So that's number 2. So we got number 1, know what you want / desire. Okay. Number 2, take responsibility for where you are. And now you're going to make some different decisions about your life. And number 3 is gratitude. I know we hear a lot about gratitude. We're often told, okay, in your journal, write 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning, or 3 things that you're grateful for in the evening, or something of that nature. But here's the thing. It's not about just being grateful on those prescribed times or doing those prescribed times. It is about you being grateful as much as possible throughout the day when things go wrong. And it's amazing when things go wrong, people want to complain about the things that go wrong. Well, 2 things I want to say about that. Number 1, if you're going to complain about something that went wrong, perhaps you should complain to the person that can provide you with solutions. But go with the thought that you want a solution such that you can make this situation better. Okay, when I didn't know, again, about certain things when it came to a personal relationship, instead of blaming the other person, and well, full disclosure, sometimes I was so annoyed I did blame them, but I also blamed myself as well. However, I also realized that, you know what, I need to go to someone who can answer my questions. I need to talk to someone who can help me with this, or I need to read. And because, I'm an avid reader and I like courses and I like learning. So I recognize an area where, wow, I need to have sharper skills in that area. And I start to work on it. So with that being said, your gratitude is so important. Become grateful for the lesson. Become grateful for the fact that you had to go through something that perhaps wasn't as pleasant as you would have liked it to be, or didn't work out the way you hoped it would. Okay, so because within all of that chaos, within all of that, let's call it misery that you went through, there are some amazing lessons that are going to allow you to go to the next level. So what is the next level? Any level that takes you above where you are, where you're not getting any of the things that you desire for your life. That's your next level. And then there comes another level, and so on and so on. So understand that when it comes to being grateful, it is important that you look at this. And I hear this where people complain and they come up with reasons to blame other people. And don't get me wrong, I've been down the blame game road, but I discovered that, you know what, at the end of that road, there's no pot of gold. There's nothing. Okay. It's just more misery, and it's definitely not feel good moments. So, but when you're grateful, your mind opens up and it says, okay, you can forgive yourself. Okay, here's what you need to do next. It gives you ideas so that you can learn something that will allow you to grow. So at this point in the year, if you haven't achieved the goals that you wanted to achieve, personal or business, then that tells you there's something that you need to learn. And gratitude allows your humility to kick in so that you will, in fact, open up and learn it, instead of allowing your ego to keep you in it's their fault mode, or it's my fault mode, I'm a bad person kind of thing. No, get rid of that, and get rid of that now. Or you're looking at other people and finding reasons to call them bad. And I just want to use the president as an example. People, sometimes they talk about him. Don't get me wrong. He does some things that make you question him, but he's also done some good things. I'm saying that to say, at the end of the day, God is in control of your wealth, your success, of your health, and all of that, all of the above. But you have to do your part. So it's easy for everybody to go, if only the president. One thing, and I've shared this before, one thing I've noticed since I was a kid, it's always been the president's fault. Doesn't matter who the president is. So the object of the game is for you to go back to number one, know what you want / desire. Let that desire kick in. And you know what? Do your part. And gratitude will position you to soften up enough to learn what you need to learn. So let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is commit to personal growth. I'm not sure why people think that they're going to have a better life if they keep doing the exact same thing, if they don't elevate their mind, if they don't expand their thinking. I'm not sure why they think that everything is supposed to change. A lot of times people will reach out to other people and reach out to some program that's out there and, oh, it's free. And there's nothing wrong with taking advantage of something that's free, okay, because you can pull the good out of it. But it's the mindset that you carry with you when you go towards a free program. Carry the mindset that, you know what, right now I need this program, but I'm going to learn what I need to learn and start doing my part so that I can grow and go to the next level. Understand this, whether you spend money, whether you spend time, whatever it is you do, you will have to plant the right seeds to get the right outcome. A lot of times we plant the wrong seeds because we've not taken responsible for our personal growth. Here's a great quote that I really love, and it's by Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn said, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development. So if you don't work on developing yourself personally, then you're not going to grow to the level that you need to grow such that you can reach or achieve the goals that you desire to achieve, or anything, get the things that you desire. The more you deny yourself that right, that ability, then you're going to stay right where you are. So if you find yourself repeating the same things over and over, then take a look at what your ego is telling you. Take a look at what your inner critic is telling you. And actually, the ego and inner critic, they kind of hang out together, I think. So, because they're designed to protect you, but exactly what are they protecting you from? If they're protecting you from your destiny, they're protecting you from your calling, your purpose, if they're protecting you from doing life with power and being excited about who you are and embracing the fact that you are built by design to win and causing you to play small and think small, then you know what? You need to shut them down. You need to quiet them down and say, you know what? Get back in your place. And when it's time for you to step up and protect me, then you step up and you do your thing. But stop protecting me from things that are good. Well, how do you recognize that? The only way you can recognize when you're stopping your own good is you have to grow personally. Here's another way, actually. Have you ever watched, I don't watch these reality shows. The only one I would say, I used to watch American Idol and America's Got Talent because I like the singing and the talent and that kind of thing. So, however, have you ever watched some of these shows? I've seen some of the commercial clips where it's, what is it? Like the Real Wives of Orange County, Real Wives of it, I think Atlanta, these kinds of things where they're bickering and bickering and bickering, but they show their lavish lifestyle. And you're watching this and you're thinking, wow, I wish I had that. And you probably don't want the bickering part, but you wish you had that kind of that opulent lifestyle. So the point that I'm making, if you find yourself wishing for something more, imagining something greater for yourself, and you're looking at it and seeing it outside yourself by looking at someone else, you don't have to be covetous. What you want to do is recognize that some personal growth needs to take place. So how does personal growth take place? Well, our Summer Success Series is coming up. That's going to help you. We're going to have some personal growth going on in there. A lot of it. Also, you can take courses, you can get yourself a coach, or a mentor. And you know what? I always tell people get both. Get a mentor and get a coach. And I've had some really great coaches, but I've also had some really great mentors along the way. And so these are some of the things that you can do. Think about how you spend your quiet time. What do you do? Think about if you even have quiet time. And so we're going to go much deeper into personal growth coming up, as I said, during our summer success series. But I kind of wanted to give you some insight that would help you get started now. So we've got know what you want / desire. Number 2 is take responsibility for where you are right now. You're not going to stay there. Remember, you're going to have a vision for what's next for your life. Number 3, be grateful. Be grateful for every single lesson, every unpleasant event that you've been through, anything that you are not excited about or satisfied with because of what happened to you. Be grateful. Look for the lessons. Note the lessons and move on. So that's number 3, gratitude. Number 4, commit to personal growth. And finally, number 5, connect with groups that encourage excellence. It is so easy to sit around, let's say, with a bunch of friends and gossip and complain about what's going on in society and complain about politics, complain about the president, the Congress, complain about people in the House of Representatives, or even, the Supreme Court. These are things that you see a lot. And I don't even watch the news. So if I see it, it's out there. So the point I'm making is that instead of just doing that all the time, you need to understand whatever you're constantly taking in, it becomes a part of your thinking. It becomes a part of your development. So you're growing personally, but you're growing in the wrong direction. But if you sit around with a bunch of people who want to complain, who want to gossip, and talk about what happened with the latest movie star or singer, I'm not sure how that's going to make you money unless you're a critic who's online doing that and getting paid for it. Other than that, it is a waste of time, and it's not going to take you to where you want to go. Not only that, usually people who sit around and do these kind of things, the minute you share something exciting, something upbeat, something encouraging, something that you're doing that you are super excited about, because they're in negative mode, they go right to negative mode, and then they turn on you. And they ask you, with everything that's going on, why would you want to do that? Well, that sounds really hard. Well, wow, why? I mean, doesn't that sound like a waste of your time? Can't you spend your time doing something else? So the point that I'm making is you want to connect with groups that encourage excellence. People that will encourage you when you have a great idea, but also not just say, oh, that's great, go for it. You do need to hear that. But what you also want to hear is, oh, that's really great. So, is there anything I can do to help? Because they may be able to connect you with someone that can help you move along a lot further. So think about these kinds of things. Look at your group. Where's that group taking you? Is that group holding you back? Or they want to keep you the same? They think that if you are working on changing and allowing yourself to grow and evolve into the person that you were called to be, they think that if they do that, then, that this is a bad thing. They want you to be like them because you're going to leave the group and they're going to try and hold you back. And they're not doing it because they're mean people. They're doing it because they like the group. They like the thing as it is. And here's the thing, and we're going to wrap up on this. I'm not saying that they like where they are in life, because a lot of times people allow fear to put them in a place that does not excite them, that does not fulfill them, but they stay there because it's comfortable. And if you're around that kind of group, understand that someone who encourages excellence, they like comfort, but not the kind of comfort that comes with not winning. Okay. They're going to encourage you, and the comfort they like is, hey, they're comfortable with excelling. They're comfortable with challenging you. They're comfortable with asking you questions that will make you think and not put you down. So think about these kinds of things when it comes to changing and achieving your goals. If you haven't achieved your goals, if you're not moving forward, it's because you've put yourself in a position to where you've decided that, you know what? On one hand, I want these things, but on some level, you have decided that you're not going to change, or you refuse to let go of what's not serving you, even though you're not getting the lifestyle that you want. Now, we're going to talk some more about this because I could go on and on about this, but we're going to talk more so we can break these podcast episodes up into bite-sized pieces. So with that being said, you guys, before the week is out, you're going to hear about the Summer Success Series, and I'll tell you where you can go and you can sign up. It's free to sign up, and you'll get the details there. So with that being said, in the meantime, I want you to have a magnificent day and do life with power, knowing that you are built by design to win.